My name is Leigh-Pink. This is worldwidepredictions.com. And this is our first truth presented here in video format. I'm very excited. Today, we are going to talk about what the spiritual realm thinks of Donald J. Trump. No, we're not. We're not at all going to talk about that because here's the thing, I wouldn't even know. Wouldn't know. You would read my predictions, you would think they would have an opinion, right? But they don't do that. They don't like that. They find the act of judgment utterly deplorable. And so that is what we're going to talk about. We're going to explain why. Why is judgment wrong? What's wrong with judgment? And you may think, right now, what's the reason? Why is it wrong? Consider it. Because I'm going to guess by the end of this, it's going to be different than what you might think. Just yesterday, I'm doing my personal readings in my office. We have 4 back to back. Now, when I do my readings, there's downtime. Sometimes it's 40 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes. We just sit there. No, the spirits aren't going to move. We're just going to move on to the next reading. So we're all just sort of preparing, conversing, just like you would with a normal break at work, right? But these are spirits. And so I go up and I ask Marcus, who's in charge. He's in his, Rod Serling suit, very perfectly pressed, all fixed. He's got the swagger. And I said to him, so I was acting human. So, what do you think of Vladimir Putin? So, And then he bounced away. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, Eric, you did it. You broke the cardinal rule. And that's it. You need to understand. They don't like that. They don't like that. So let's begin with a better explanation, right? What exactly is their policy on the matter? I take you back all the way to my childhood. I'm walking home from elementary, nice good walk back home. And as I walked, the spirits would circle me, like Tweety Bird. And we would talk about whatever's under the sun. Usually it was elaborate, beautiful stories that I'm going to share with all of you. And so here I was, and I was upset with the president. I was upset with what he did. How dare he? And I honestly don't remember what it was. And so I said, do you know what my opinion, Diana, is? And as she's circling, she stops right in front of me, floating a little bit above. And she looks at me and she says, did somebody make you president and not tell me? Does the seat that you claim to know something you're familiar with? And here's the line. Here's the line that all of them use, really. Because if you do not offer weight to the circumstance, solution, or situation, then zip it. That's what they would say to me all the time. It got annoying after a while. And so, after a while, I started to follow their keen. But here on Earth, that's not the way it's done. We endlessly judge. Twitter, Facebook, all of it. Likes, dislikes, you name it. It's all judgment, judgment, judgment. And so here's Diana sharing this with me, right? Now, some of you at home saying to yourself, come on, Eric. We've read your work. We've seen what you think of Donald J. Trump. No. I would say no to that. Do I have a slant? I am human. Yeah, maybe. That's true. But let me explain this to you. This is our weight. Our job is to predict the future. Our job is to give you the future, and to do that, we have to describe it. And yes, there are times where our description is exaggerated because we want to describe it to you elaborately. And so I present to you what is coming in 2022. What came in 2022 that was different than the previous years, right? And we said, well, COVID's pretty much coming to an end, but the way this year is looking, it's not going to be celebrated. Because what they presented was 3 rawhide thugs. And I mean rawhide, as in Clint Eastwood, rawhide, that rawhide, right? This here, he was dressed like a Barnum and Bailey figure. He had these dirty, filthy hands, just the dirtiest hands you could imagine. And he had a painted face. The paint was coming down, as if to say you're fake, right? But on his face was a mask, and it was a joker. It was the spiritual realm very flatly saying, you're a bit of a joke. Your leadership's a joke. Sorry, it just is. You know, that's what they're saying. They're saying this loudly with this presentation. And this figure tramples on the world. He tramples on it. And with him, right next to him, is death. Death himself. And that's it. That's our description of what's coming in 2022. And it happened. That was Vladimir Putin in every way. He's a thug. He's a joke. Look at it. So, it's us offering you weight. So what's wrong with judgment? What's the issue? What's the concern? Look at your state of affairs. Why you judge, why others judge, why everybody judges. Is anything getting done? Look at just the United States alone. Is the United States improving, getting better, fixing things, changing ways to improve all of our lives? Is that happening? Or are we just judging? Because as you judge, you accomplish nothing. So I want to give you the bee story, because that really sums it up for the spiritual realm. And the bee story goes like this. Most of us here on this planet, we have extra time, so what else are we going to do? It's like we're that bee that's just floating around, collecting the nectar. So what do you think about Boris Johnson? You know, that's us. They're the hive. Right? I know everybody at home, you look at the movies, you look at the TV shows, and heaven is described as this place, just so relaxing. Everybody's relaxed. We're all going to lavish parties at the neighbor's house, eating shrimp, cocktail, and having a blast, right? And then we can relax with the day, eating frozen yogurt, sitting down talking. Wonderful show, by the way, wonderful, and not really about heaven. But hey, that's their description, right? It's sort of a common theme, and yet it's nothing at all like that. It is the hive. And there's a queen, there's literally a queen there in the hive. You know, it's the hive. It is efficient. It is quick. It is rapid. It moves at a pace that is always like flames of fire. It moves with rapid pace, and yet it is the most wonderful place you'll ever go. And this here is the problem. Because that little bee floating around, can you imagine it going up to the hive? Excuse me, everybody please stop what you're doing. I'd like to explain what I think about this. Like, no, that hive would turn around and look at you and say, "You're wasting our time." And they would want you to move on. So, the real truth is a reminder from the spiritual realm. We've already told you this. Look at all of them. Lao Tzu, he taught you the flowness of it all. Flowing, listening, being quiet. Prince Siddhartha quieted the mind. He taught silence. That was literally his teachings. The great prophet in a cave, listening as he recited. The king. The picture says it all. He broke bread with his mortal enemy, with his friends, listening to what they had to say, hearing their plight, so that he could fix it. So, as a solution to one of your many problems, consider it. Consider we've lost our way a bit. Consider that in this moment, just stop. Listen to your neighbor. Break bread with your neighbor. Have a moment with your neighbor. And ask him, how can we help? And let that neighbor be your opposing force. Because that's the way the spiritual realm does it. It's the way they've always done it. They don't have time for judgment. So consider, in this moment, that one possible outcome, one possible way to solve our issues is in their own words. Zip it. Thank you. This is Leigh-Pink.